30 seconds left until the end of the beginning and the beginning of the end. You know what happens in 15 seconds? The intro.
Welcome to the 9dNation.
בראשית ברא אלוהים את השמיים ואת הארץ.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Thousands of years later, it was Wednesday at 11 p.m. Central. Get your passport ready and be prepared to declare to the customs agents any edible plants or miscellaneous worldviews. You're now crossing into the nation with no denomination.
Welcome to the 9dNation. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. The robot lady said, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. All right. This is our Wednesday night show on G-Ross. What is G-Ross? It's a channel. It's on the Foxhole. Hello, Anka Vanka in the house. It's also on D-Live. And thanks to Sloan, the encouragement from Sloan, it's on Twitch. It's also sometimes on Facebook and sometimes on YouTube, depending on what we're going to do. I'll tell you something funny. They have not censored Bible reading on YouTube yet. So we keep broadcasting on. Now let's get right to it, because if you were here last week, the show went for epic length of time to epic locations, and you never know what's going to happen. P. Thaggy, welcome to G-Ross and the 9dNation. What is the 9dNation? It's a Bible reading. Wednesday nights are in essence a Bible reading. Nothing crazy. What is this J.K. Rowling on Truth Social? Anyway. All right, let's get to it. Slightly new format. I kind of liked it last week, so we're going to stick with it. Let's see if it works. Just going to read. Well, let me tell you our story so far. This is, by the way, episode 22. In the first 21 weeks of doing this, we've gone from Genesis 1:1 through Genesis 6:8. And our story so far became this. Ahiah, that's how I like to say Yahweh. Long story, short story. A friend of mine says it that way. I'm like, that's cool. Ahiah made everything for human leadership. They disobeyed, got corrupted, and struggled with nature. Now the tempter will be crushed by a human savior. And Seth's line led to Noah, but Cain spawned a polygamous, murderous society in the East, including cowboys, rock stars, and a military-industrial complex. And humanity fell into complete evil. Fallen angels even spawned half-human supervillains. Ahiah decided to reset all land and air animals, including humans, except the favored Noah. So the new format is we're just going to read 9 through 15 in English, and then you'll see the next part, the fake Hebrew part. All right, so 9 through 15. These are the records of the generations of Noah. Noah was a righteous man, blameless in his time. Noah walked with God. Noah became the father of 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japhet. Now the earth was corrupt in the sight of God, and the earth was filled with violence. God looked on the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way upon the earth. Then God said to Noah, the end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence because of them, and behold, I'm about to destroy them with the earth. Make for yourself an ark of gopher wood. You shall make the ark with rooms, and shall cover it inside and out with pitch. This is how you shall make it. The length of the ark 300 cubits, its breadth 50 cubits, its height 30 cubits. Boy, do we have an adventure ahead of us. And we're going to get it done in 25 more minutes. Because we have a panel coming up. A panel, you say? Yes. We have taken to having a panel. It'll be on Jitsi. That worked really well last week. I think it'll be on Jitsi. Let me. Oh no! I had it last time. Oh no! All right. Bad show prep. Bad. It's so lame. Give me just 1 second. All right. I gotta put this. How come? Here we go. I'm doing something. You'll see. Just a second. All right. It's a little easier to see. Genesis 6, 9 through 15 on this screen. All right. Okay, I'm now going to pretend to read this in Hebrew. Laugh at me all you want. I'm cool with it. Ele toledot Noach ish tzadik tamim haya bedorotav et haElohim hethalech Noach. Pretty sure Noach is Noach. Vayoled Noach shelosha vanim et Shem et Ham vu et Japhet. Et Shem et Ham vu et Japhet. Right. Vatishachet haaretz lifnei haElohim vatimale haaretz Hamas. Vayar Elohim et haaretz vehine nishchata ki hishchit kol basar et darko el haaretz. Vayomer Elohim lenoach ketz kol basar ba lafane ki mala haaretz Hamas mipaneim vehini mashchitom et haaretz. 2 more verses. 15 I accidentally broke. Let me read 14 off my Oshay Lick Otse Gopher Onam Thoshea Thalebe. That I butchered. Vizeh Asher Ta'ase Ota Shelosh Meot Ama Orech Hateba, sorry. Chamishim Ama Recheba Usheloshim Ama Komata. Wow. I butchered that worse than usual. So, So, let's jump into each verse. That's really where the fun starts. Why read it in Hebrew? Because I'm about to show you the Hebrew root words and what they mean. Not that I'm an expert. It's just easy to look this stuff up these days. So let's go to verse 9. So, do you remember Toledot? We saw it once before, the generations of Adam. Now we've got the generations of Noah. Don't let them fool you, man. Don't let the experts and the scribes and the Pharisees tell you what to think. You figure it out. Ele Toledot Noach. These are the generations of Noah. Noach ish Shadik Tamim. Okay, so let's break this down. All right. So, yeah, verse 9. Ele Toledot Noach ish. This is the genealogy of Noah. Noah was a dude who was. We know all those words from prior weeks. So since this is not a new word, we're not going to stop and look at each one of those that much. But next new word that we've never seen. Tzaddik. That's righteous. There's 206 usages in the Law and Prophets. When I say Law and Prophets, I mean Old Testament. I just don't want to call it Old Testament because it's not moldy, it's not dusty, it's not old. It's just as relevant as the New. The New Testament is the Old Testament uncovered. The Old Testament is the New Testament covered or hidden or, So anyway, Law and Prophets, Moses and the prophets, have 206 usages of any of the forms of tzaddik or righteous or just. It nearly always means righteous. So I looked up in English. A lot of times when it's just a straight translation, I'm like, well, what's the English mean? So it means upright, moral, and just. So remember what we said about how sin was measured. So you could say that it's accurate. Noah was an accurate person, maybe a correct person. Does it mean he was a good marksman? Tamim is the next word. This is complete or sound, as in sound architecture. Blameless or blemishless. So if he's tzaddik tamim, he did no wrong. Like this guy was. So tzaddik tamim, right and not wrong. They're being so clear. Haya. That we know that word. It means turned out to be. Bedorotav. That comes from the word door. And it means period, or a generation, or a dwelling. Now think about that. That's kind of weird. How could a period, or a generation, or a dwelling all be the one word? There's 167 usages in the Law and Prophets. It can mean, so it's like in his time or in his generation. Back in my day, we walked with God. Noah could say, back when I was a youngin', in my time. And then it goes on to say, Et ha-Elohim he'ethalech Noach. That means with God walked Noah. So now let's put it all together. Here comes the Noahide genealogy. He was a righteous dude from God's perspective. I wanted to point that out because it says, a man blameless was, in his generations, with God walked Noah. What made him so good? What made him such a teacher's pet? He was perfect. That Noah was perfect. It's very interesting because Noah's entire life is not necessarily perfect. We'll get to that. Probably not this week. So do you remember the summary? I'm not going to read the whole thing again. I'm going to tell you my edits. I'm going to edit out because we got to shrink it as we go. So the part where Seth's line leads to Noah, but Cain spawned, pretty soon all that's going to get wiped out. So I'm just going to say they became a polygamous, murderous, full of cowboys, rock stars, military-industrial complex. Fallen angels spawned half-human supervillains. Ahia chose to reset all the land and air animals except humans. Including humans, except Noah, the favored and righteous Seth descendant. So let's go to verse 20. We got 15 minutes to do. Getting a little behind. Let me check on the chat. Hangton Alien Surfer, what is up? Oh, Hangton Alien Surfer has said in the chat. Let's see what he said. I think you did this to me last time, or not last time, but before. What's going on? What's up? What's up, Vashget? Or let's hear.
What's going on?
מה קורה?
Ma kore, it says. Is it right? Ma kore. We got a can. Let's can it up. Let's get with our canimation. That can comes from Hangton Alien Surfer. And he says, last can. Well, here's my last bottle. It's green, so you can't see it. It looks like the Predator. If the Predator was a soda bottle. All right, let's do the next verse. Number 10. So what is going on? Oh. Alien meant V Gates? Yeah, I think he auto-corrected him. Vayoled Noach Shelosha Banim et Shem et Ham Vu'et Yafet. No new words here. And it's a pretty straightforward sentence. Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japhet. So, not really going to update our story so far. Except for I'll add at the end, father of Shem, Ham, Ham, and Japhet. Let's go to verse 11. Not trying to give 10 short shrift, it's just pretty straightforward. So, Vatishachet comes from Shachath, or Shachat, which is go to ruin, sort of. It usually means destroy. 147 usages in the Law and Prophets. It kind of has a feeling in this context, and when I looked up the other usages, of like spoiled, like an apple getting rotten. So Adam eats a rotten fruit, and then the cosmos becomes a rotten fruit. Kinda. I'm not saying, it was an immediate effect, but over time. And it's a deduction. I'm not saying it's right there in the text, but if you read it, you're like, it's like a downhill slide. Willie Jaj been drinking. Haaretz lifnei ha'Elohim Batimale haaretz. The earth in the face of God and full the earth is of what? Hamas. Violence or wrong. There's 60 law and prophet usages of this word. Hamas. Violence. In English, violence is an injuring force. So, like a breaking force. So the whole sentence here means earth was spoiled from God's perspective with injurious forces. I say from God's perspective because the lipnei ha-Elohim, the before God. Because they could have said, and was corrupt the earth, and was filled the earth violence. But it says before God. So it's kind of like in his face, this is what we see. So when you bring God's face and earth in juxtaposition at this time, you see that from God's perspective, earth was spoiled. Spoiled how? With injurious forces. So think about that for a second. If it weren't for the constant murdering, maybe there would have been a different judgment. So let's take out they became polygamous, murderous, and full of cowboys, rock stars, and military-industrial complex, and let's replace it with humans specialized in cattle raising, entertainment industry, and the military industry. Because, let's see. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. They fully spoiled the earth through and through, becoming polygamous and murderous. That's going to be my new summary. All right, let's look at 12. Hopefully we can get this done in another 10 minutes. All right. Vayar Elohim et haaretz v'hine nishata ki hishit kol basar et darko al haaretz. We know all those words. God confirmed it was totally spoiled because of the habits of the meat stuff humans was universally ruined. I call it meat stuff because it's like this word for flesh. It's like the stuff that was removed from the side where Adam's rib was taken out. So the new summary paragraph, I've been chopping it up in little edits. Let me read you where we're at. Ahia made everything for human leadership. They disobeyed, got corrupted, and struggled with nature, and will be saved from the tempter by one human. Humans specialized in cattle raising, entertainment industry, and military industry. They fully spoiled earth through and through, becoming polygamous and murderous. Fallen angels spawned half-human supervillains. Ahia chose to reset all land and air animals, including humans, except Seth's descendant Noah, the favored and righteous, the father of Shem, Ham, and Japhet. Let's look at 13. Got 3 more verses to go in this section. And if we're making a good time, we might squeeze in another couple of verses, just to make a little extra. Let's go to 13. Vayomer Elohim leNoach. God told Noah. We know every single word here. Read it earlier, so I'm just going to go right. God told Noah the timing, the end of the meat stuff has been brought to my face because earth is full of the flesh's destructive aspects. So check it out. I'll destroy them all along with earth, which they destroyed. That's my transliteration with today's nomenclature, as best as I could do it. Made of meat, M-A-I-D, like American Made from The Tick. Or to put it another way, God told Noah, okay, time's up, you meat people. You ruined earth to my face with your violence, so now you're going down with it. So in other words, he didn't destroy the earth, they destroyed the earth, so now he's destroying the earth. Does that make sense? He's like, you're taking it down, you're going down with it. So in summation, at our juncture, Ahia made everything for human leadership. They disobeyed, got corrupted, struggled with nature, and will be saved from the tempter by one human. They specialized in cattle, entertainment industry, and military. They fully spoiled Earth, becoming polygamous, violent, and murderous. Fallen angels spawned half-human supervillains. Ahia chose to reset all land and air animals, including humans, except Seth's descendant Noah, the favored and righteous father of Shem, Ham, and Japhet. Verse 14. We're going to get to something really interesting here in a second, I think. Well, next week, maybe. But, all right. Ase lacha tevat atze gofer kenim ta'ase et hataiva bechafar ta'ota mi bayit umechutz bakofer. Ase lacha, make you a what? A tevat. What's that? It's a box or a chest. But really, it's translated nearly all of the 28 times in the Law and Prophets as ark. It's a new, and I'm going to argue mostly, like nearly, it's a unique word. But we kind of know what it is and used for because of the rest of the text. The 2 times the word is not used about Noah's ark, it's Moses' river basket, which is a tiny little baby ark. So it's kind of like a word just for this function, but we get tons. For the next 2 weeks, we're probably going to be talking about the construction of this thing. So whatever it is, we'll call it an ark. It's a very specific thing. Now, make your aselacha, your lavat, from atze, from trees. What kind of trees? Gopher. Now, this is only used one time right here. It's a type of tree, apparently. I'm going to go with cypress. I'm going to say cypress. Spoon. You're right, Hank. We need a cheer. We need like a saying. How about not in the face, not in the face? Spoon. I'm going to go with cypress because in Greek, cypress is kuparison, which is kind of close to gopher, right? Kupar. Gofar. Kofar. Kopar. Gofar. Kinim. That's from kin. That's a nest. 13 Law and Prophet usages usually means nest. So like a comfy sleep spot, you know, a place where you curl up and get fed worms from mama. Ta'ase et hataiva, make in the ark what? So make nests in the ark. So it says rooms, but it's really nests. But that reminds me of the time we learn in the Gospels that he's going to make many rooms. In my Father's house are many rooms. Just kind of reminded me of that when we saw this. You know, make a ark with a lot of rooms, a lot of little nests, little comfy crash pads. Ta'ase et hateva, and make in the ark. So nests make in the ark. Vechafar ta, that comes from kafar. This is the word for pitch. This is what we got to spend about 5 minutes on, maybe 3. It means appease. So how can a bunch of tar appease? There's 104 usages in the Old Testament, or in the Law and Prophets, or Moses and the Prophets. So it means appease, but you're covering it up with appeasement. So you're covering the inside and the outside of the ark. All this wood you constructed, you're going to slap this appeasement on it. The word means appease, but you're covering the ark with it. So you'll notice that God does not like to see ickiness. He's like, hey, if you're going to cover yourself with fig leaves, use these animals instead. You're going to cover the doorposts with blood during Passover so that they'll pass over not killing your firstborn. We're covered in the blood of Christ. So it's this constant thing that, you know, and this word means like a bribery payment. Vechafarta from kafar. Make sure, let's see. This word right here. cover it, and appease it. Ota means it. Mibayit, that's like a house. Cover the house. There's 2,056 law and prophet usages. It regularly means house. So it means on the house side, so the inside. This will make more sense in a second when we look at the next word. Umichutz, from the word chutz, which is outside. There's 164 usages in the law and prophets here. And it means street side. So if you got a wall for your house, you got the inside and the outside. So that's how we know that they're coating it on both inside and out. Bakofer comes from the word for bribe. 17 law and prophet usages. It means a redemption, a life price, or a ransom. One time it does mean a village, and 2 times it means henna, like the stain you can put on your fingernails. This is starting to seem a little bit like that Passover blood, like you're covering it, right? So you're going to keep seawater from ruining the ark and the rain from getting inside and out, right? So that it wouldn't get soggy and sink. So definitely you got to cover it with something. Do you get the idea that maritime and admiralty law are already being shown as like nothing wrong with Cypress Hill, Yankton Alien Surfer? Good point. The sea and the ocean is not in and of itself bad, but you sometimes need protection from it, or from Dagon, the false sea god. That's a little bit of a stretch, but I want to throw that in here. So let's look up pitch in the dictionary. It means a wood tar. So he's saying to Noah here, make you a cypress tree box with bunks and slap some anti-Dagon protection in and out to keep it from corrupting. A little bit of a stretch on my part, but not that bad. So our story so far. Ahia made everything for human leadership. They disobeyed, got corrupted, and struggled with nature, and will be saved from the tempter by a human. They specialized in cattle, entertainment industry, and military. They fully spoiled Earth, becoming polygamous, violent, and murderous. Fallen angels spawned half-human supervillains. Ahia chose to reset all land and air animals, including humans. He told favored and righteous Noah, father of Shem, Ham, and Japhet, to make a waterproof, sanctified cypress bunker box. Next verse. Very short verse. Easy to read. Really quick. And you shall make it 300 cubits. The length of the ark, 50 cubits. The width, and 30 cubits. The height. We have to talk about a cubit. So he says, Veze al sher ta'asa ota shelosh meot. This is how you'll make it. 300 what? Amaz. Cubits. There's 248 law and prophet usages. Always means a cubit. It's about a half a yard. Let me just let all the debate disappear in microseconds. Everybody likes to say, we don't really know what a cubit is, and blah, 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 blah. I'm going to beg to say, I love finding controversy and deep dives and conspiracies and everything. Wikipedia just straight up tells you what a cubit is. About 1.5 feet. Yeah, there's 2 kinds of cubits. There's the blah and the blah. It's just like, we know about how big the ark was. He says, orech, the length, 95. Usages of this word. It almost always means length. Hateva chamishim amah, 50 cubits. Recheba, breadth, or width. So we'll call it width. There's 101 usages of recheba in the Old Testament. Usheloshim amah, 30 cubits. Amah starts to sound almost like arm. An arm is, if you go elbow to finger, that's about 1.5 feet. So you could just say, all right, Noah's arm, from here to here, that many times. And komata, the height, there's 45 law and prophet usages of that word. So all in all, make the ark 300 by 50 by 30 half yards. So let's add to the verse, to the paragraph we've been carrying, and I won't repeat the whole thing. 150 by 25 by 15 yards. I just divided by 2. It's about how big the ark was. All right. I'm going to check and see. Hangton Alien Surfer says, is this quantum language with maritime law? I think it is, Hangton Alien Surfer. I think there is a bit of that. Let me check and see. Just bear with me 1 second, please. I think we're going to go one more verse or 2 or 3. I can't stay on for too long tonight. My boss notices when I'm like half dead tired. Crease the elbow to the knuckles. Yeah. I'd buy that. Like this. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Aram. 1 aram long. Yep. All right. So that was the overly prepared chunk, but let me give us a little bit more. We'll go to verse 16. We'll do a couple more. And, in a few more minutes, I'll, I don't know, tell some jokes, call it a night, go to sleep, get up early. All right. Why can't I remember how to work my computer? Okay. Verse 16. You shall make a window for the ark and finish it to a cubit from the top. And put the door of the ark on the side, and you shall make it with lower, second, and third decks. All right. Let's pretend. I'm going to pretend to read that verse in Hebrew. Why? Okay. It's a cozy little group here. You guys are awesome. I may have to release some scratching in a little while and see who's lurking. Oh, we lost one. We lost a lurker just now. That's okay. It's okay. Calm down, G. Ross. I took a little nap before the show like I do almost every Wednesday. Man, it throws me. All right. Let me pretend to read this in Hebrew. I have to write it down phonetically and kind of study it on Saturday. Tzohar ta'ashe lateva ve'el ama tachanela meomaha ufe tach hateva betsida tasim tachtiim shiniim Ushelishim ta'asea. Somebody once said that Hebrew was made up by the Egyptians to control the slaves. And that's been sticking with me ever since. It does sound like kind of a weird, Star Wars language, doesn't it? Maybe it's just my horrible pronunciation. I say it's the original language. I mean, that's what it seems like, but I kind of get a feel that, yeah, it's almost like the one that, do you remember the Admiral Akbar, the guy next to him? His language. It all sounds like that. Zohar. Midday. There's 24 usages in the Old Testament, or Law and Prophets. It's like a noon thing. So how do you install a noon thing in a box? I think it's a skylight, right? So install the noonanizer. I can see them calling it a window. It's more like a skylight. The JPS Tanakh 1917 translation says, a light shalt thou make to the ark. I think they're the only ones that get it right. It's not a window. It's a light, or a way to let light in. It's a light gap. Ta'ashe lateva va'el ama tachanela. That's the ark. So a skylight in the ark, make it up to a cubit. And then he says, Me'ilmaha, that means from the word ma'al, that means above or upwards. There's 140 usages in the Law and Prophets. It always means above or upward. And then he says, Ufe tach hateva, that's a door of the ark. And then he says, Betsida. Sounds like Bathsheba, doesn't it? Betsida. That comes from the word sod. There's 33 usages. It means a side. So on the side. It even sounds like beside, right? Betsida. Tasim, that's to place or put. Lachtiyim, that's from takti. That's lower or lowest. There's 19 example usages of this word root in the Law and Prophets. Lower part, bottom part, feet, or base. Shneim ushe lishim ta'aseya. Second and third make it. So if you put it all together, it says, put a skylight, make the ark up to the last half yard, put a door in the side, and make it bottom, second, and third. So our story so far is this. Ahia made the cosmos for human regency. They disobeyed, got corrupted, and struggled with nature, and will be saved from the tempter by a human. They grew to specialize in cattle, entertainment industry, and military. They fully spoiled Earth, becoming polygamous, violent, and murderous. Fallen angels spawned half-human supervillains. Ahia chose to reset all land and air animals, including humans. He told favored and righteous Noah, father of Shem, Ham, and Japhet, to make a waterproof, sanctified, 3-deck skylit cypress bunker box, 150 by 25 by 15 yards with a door on the side. That's the whole Bible up to now, in one little paragraph. G-Ross style. Not that I'm in charge of summarizing the Bible. We've been grinding through this for 21 weeks, now 22. And we're just going to carry it along with us, right? It's all our hard work. Shall we do another verse? I'm in. I want to make some progress. Call it a nooner. Pythagi, there can be a panel. Now, the Wednesday night G-Ross panel for 9dNation, which is the name of the Wednesday show, is supposed to star Black Yoda. He's here almost every Wednesday, but I haven't seen him. Pythagi, last week we had Hangton Alien Surfer, Black Yoda, Duppy, man, I'm horrible. We had Duppy. Was it just Jim? Yeah, it was just Jim. And I said, I hadn't seen you in a while. And he's like, you saw me just yesterday. I meant in person on a panel. So it was just Jim, Duppy, Hangton Alien Surfer, and Black Yoda. Black Yoda's kind of the star of the Wednesday night panel. He must be busy. He's not required by law to be here. He's just here 85 to 90% of the time. Pythagi, I will tell you this. If I say anything during this Bible reading that you'd like to come in and debate or augment, you just say the word. And I will pop a Jitsi link out in lightning fast. I'm just grinding until Black Yoda gets here or somebody says, that's it. You're switching to panel mode. I'm not going to do a really, really long panel, though, because last week I never caught up on my sleep. But we'll do like a bit. Yeah, absolutely. Call it a Nuna. So, do you guys ever go to the Epcot thingy in Orlando? Inside the ball, there's a ride called Spaceship Earth. Call it the first backup system. 2 out of 4 were aliens. I know Hangton Alien Surfer was an alien. Who was the other alien? I don't know. I don't know who the other alien was. So, yeah, basically you're right, P-Thaggy. You're right. Listen, we caught lightning in a bottle last Wednesday, and then the next night there was more lightning in a bottle, which I had to work and missed it, and I got there late, and I had an after panel, which was awesome, but it wasn't aired. That was thanks to Hangton Alien Surfer. I've loved that call. That was, and I even had to go after that because I was so tired. But we just chit-chatted. Man, it was awesome. Anyway, love this family. Commander! All right, Commander, since you just got here, I'm just going to read our story so far. This is where we just left off. This is Genesis 1:1 through Genesis 6:16. Leads us to this. Ahia made the cosmos for human regency. They disobeyed, got corrupted, and struggled with nature, and will be saved from the tempter by a human. They grew to specialize in cattle, entertainment industry, and military. They fully spoiled Earth, becoming polygamous, violent, and murderous. Fallen angels spawned half-human supervillains. Ahia chose to reset all land and air animals, including humans. He told favored and righteous Noah, father of Shem, Ham, and Japhet, and this is where it gets trippy, to make a waterproof, sanctified, 3-deck, sky-lit cypress bunker box, 150 by 25 by 15 yards, with a door on the side. That's what we know so far. I was about to read Genesis 6:17, and then the chat was getting all... Norm, say the word. Do you want to hear verse 17? I think P-Thaggy's not jumping in. I'm just kind of teetering on the edge of grinding through some more verses, but Wednesday night is panel night, for sure. Not even a question. You say augment, Norm. Do you mean if there's a panel, you'll augment it? Or do you want to be... I mean, you'd be the panelist, right? You'd be the... I would be augmenting your panel. Speaking of panels, let's do one more verse about the Ark panel, and then I'll poll the chat and see what's up. So he says in verse 17... We're just making such good time, you know, so it's hard to let go. Let go, G. Ross, let go. Now behold, I myself am bringing the flood of water upon the earth. Oh, Black Yoda's an alien, of course. Of course, of course. I'm so dumb. I'm going to check my phone again, see if he's pinging me. No pings. He must be busy. Here. P-Thaggy, Noah, and pre-flood civilization were giants. Well, it says these were the men of renown, right? So we covered this in prior weeks, but we didn't really... I mean, that's a good question. So the Nephilim, the Bible directly says that the Nephilim were in the world at that time and at another time. And we know later that that's post-flood. And we know that they are, okay, so I'm not saying this is 100% for absolutely sure, but we did kind of go through some of the theories. I mostly just picked my favorite theory. Like, the one I go with is they're the spawn of the fallen demons that chose to mate with the humans, and that made the Nephilim, and those are going to be like Hercules, basically, right? You know, the heroes, the men of renown. Not all good. Maybe none of them good. Like, for sure, they're gigantic. How big are they? Really big. I don't know how big. But, I mean, maybe 40 feet, maybe more. So he says, now behold, I myself am bringing flood of water upon the earth to destroy all flesh, in which there is the breath of life. From under heaven, everything that is on earth shall perish. Let's read it in Hebrew. I'm going to try. Vani heni mevi et hamabul mayim al haaretz lashachet kol basar asher bo ruach chaim metachat hashamayim kol asher baaretz yigva. So let me walk us through this verse. Yeah, vocabulary is tricky with aliens. Good point, Norm. Hangton Alien Surfer. So Vani, there's 874 usages in the Old Testament. It kind of reminds me of the Cajun word, like I, me, I. Oh, you don't mean Nephilim. You mean the descendants of Adam were all much, much larger than we are today. Oh. Maybe, because they lived like 900 years. And when my kiddo was like 3 or 4, have you noticed that toddlers are pretty sure that you keep growing forever? Like, they think the taller something is, the older it is. So that's an interesting point. So like before the water canopy was destroyed and there was less radiation and blah, blah, blah. That's interesting. REM did say we were standing on the shores of giants. So P-Thaggy, I don't walk around with that model in my head as my functioning model, but I think it's legit. It's totally considerable. Do you fully buy into it, or are you just kind of carry it as a possibility? Interesting. So this word ani, it strikes me as like I, me, I myself. And then he says, Hani mevi et, that's, look at this, I'm bringing what? Hamabu. That's a flood. There's 13 usages in the Old Testament, or the Law and Prophets, and 12 of the usages are about the Great Flood itself, and one is about the idea of a flood as a concept. The word can mean a flow. And then it goes on to say, Ma'im al haaretz lashachet kol basar asher bo ruach chaim mitachat hashamayim kol asher ba'aretz. Water on the earth to destroy all meat life, which has the breath or spirit of life from below heaven. All on earth will what? Yigva. That's to expire, perish, or die. There's 24 law and prophet usages of this word, and it means to perish or breathe the last. Remember, we had gava before, and we had mot. We had mot before, or tamut, which meant to die. But this one has more of a giving up or an expiring, like to get washed out or worn out is what I'm thinking. We know the flood's coming. Not only they're going to die, but they're going to give up or expire, like give up the ghost kind of thing. It's the same thing as any kind of dying, but there's a different poetic feel. So altogether, this verse is saying, look, I'll bring water on the earth to exhaust all breathing meat life from below heaven on earth. Now, here's my sales pitch. It kind of feels like, because he's mentioning the life, the breath life of earth, or the life breath of things above and below, in heaven and on earth. It kind of feels like a reset back to first creation where there was potential life before there was life. Now it's expiring the life and breath. So in other words, the beginning of creation, life kind of got breathed in, came to be, and now it's being washed back down. So it kind of up, down. I don't know. Felt poetic to me on Saturday whenever I did it. So let me read you our story so far. Ahia made the cosmos for human regency. They disobeyed, got corrupted, and struggled with nature, and will be saved from the tempter by a human. They grew to specialize in cattle, entertainment industry, and military. They fully spoiled Earth, becoming polygamous, violent, and murderous. Fallen angels spawned half-human supervillains. Ahia chose to flood out to zero all the life in the land and air animals, including humans. He told the favored and righteous Noah, father of Shem, Ham, and Yafet, to make a waterproof, sanctified, 3-deck, skylit cypress bunker box, 150 by 25 by 15 yards, with a door on the side. Let me try again. Ahia made the cosmos for human regency. They disobeyed, got corrupted, and struggled with nature, and will be saved from the tempter by a human. They grew to specialize in cattle, entertainment, industry, and military. They fully spoiled Earth, becoming polygamous, violent, and murderous. Fallen angels spawned half-human supervillains. Ahia fleshed out all the life from the flying and land-bound meat life. First, he told favored and righteous Noah, father of Shem, Ham, and Yafet, to make a waterproof, sanctified, 3-deck skylit cypress bunker box, 150 by 25 by 15 yards, with a door on the side. Mount Montgo was probably a giant elephant. Pythaggy says the skeletons that are dug up 50 feet, yes, which the Smithsonian, comes through and says it's with top men. But what? Which men? Top men. Could be the pre-flood. Yep, Nephilim would be bigger even than that, yes. Crazy idea that Noah carried Adam's skeleton on board, which spanned the entire hull. That is cool. That's cool. I'm Adam. Don't be the way I was and eat the fruit. But for me, the fruit was this big. It was like, clink. And I was ashamed. That's awesome, P-Baggy. I'm kind of inclined to read verse 18, because it's not even been an hour. We're making really good time. There's so much more Bible to read. At this rate, 22 weeks to get through. So Genesis, we're about not even 1/7 of the way through the chapters. And there's almost 40 books in the Old Testament. So we're 1/3% in almost half a year. So this is going to be, this is going to take, I'm going to be maybe done when I'm dead. I'm going to be maybe done with Psalms or something like that. Yeah, so instead of doing verse 18 here, Norm, I'm catching the vibe here. Let me let's get a Jitsi going. Or Jitly, whatever it's called. All right, Norm. Bringing Norm on. Going to be talking about Norm's show. Norm's show is tomorrow. Let me put a little note so I remember where I stopped. Stopped here October 5. All right. Where's my link generator? Jitsi. All right, Norm. We're going to meet on Jitsi. I'll put this in the chat. Whoever feels like popping in, pops in. Start meeting. G. Ross joins the meeting. Now, where's the link? Invite someone. Copy the link. Norm, if I read you right, you're asking for that. And there's that. I'm all in. I'm all in, baby. Let's get the video deactivated so that Jitsi can get a hold of it. Background music done. Hey, there we go. Tell you what, this Jitsi is badass. Many thanks to Norm for finding Jitsi. All right, now we're just hanging out, waiting for Norm. All right, Norm. Your link is in the chat. Tonight's panelist, Hang 10 Alien Server. don't see Yoda. All right. I'm gonna get some funk music going. Funk. Bring on the funk. I wish there was a way to play audio. Oh, I gotta mute that. No, I gotta not mute that. Norm, are you coming? There we go. Black Yoda. Hey, there's Black Yoda.
Yeah, I fell asleep.
No, you're good, brother. Well, you want me to tell you the summary? I've got it right here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ahaya made the cosmos for human regency.
Wait, what?
Wait, actually, I'm in the wrong place. Sorry. This is, you know how I like to summarize at the end of each verse?
Uh-huh.
So here. Wait, you're still asleep. I can tell. You're like, what? Bro, what are you saying? So Ahaya made the cosmos for human regency. They disobeyed, got corrupted, and struggle with nature, and will be saved from the tempter by a human. They grew to specialize in cattle, entertainment industry, and military. They fully spoiled Earth, becoming polygamous, violent, and murderous. Fallen angels spawned half-human supervillains. Ahaya flushed out all the life from the flying and land-bound meat life. First, he told favored and righteous Noah, father of Shem, Ham, and Japhet, to make a waterproof, sanctified, 3-deck skylit cypress bunker box, 150 by 25 by 15 yards, with a door on the side. And that's what we got. That's the end of this week. Panel time. Perfect timing, by the way. We were just going to kick it with Norm or Hang Ten Alien Surfer. So now we got... He'll be here in a second. Did you get a good nap? You know, I slept about an hour ago for a half hour.
Yeah. Normally I don't even sleep like that, but I crashed, bro.
I was checking out those pictures you sent over.
Yeah. For some reason, you know how like on Facebook, if you want to post like a couple of pictures at the same time, you just click the ones that you want and hit upload, right?
Right.
For some reason it wouldn't let me do it with those ones.
You know, they can block certain pictures. I've seen that. Like, there's certain pictures. But I don't think there was... I don't know. There was some symbols in some of those. Maybe you were trying to put too much at once?
No, it was only 5. But did you notice the flat Earth flag and the UN flag look the same?
Yeah.
You know?
The azimuthal equidistant map. Yeah, they show it to us.
You ever see the way they try to explain how Atlantis looks? You've never seen the way Plato describes Atlantis. It's supposed to have like rings around it.
Oh, yeah, I have seen that.
So have you noticed how the rings are on the UN map?
How you guys doing?
What's up, Hang Ten Alien Surfer?
Yeah, sorry, my internet just took a dump right before like right as you release the link, my internet just like decided not to work, and I had to reboot the hamster. Well, I had to get another hamster to run the wheel.
Right.
So yeah. Steven, how you doing?
I'm trying to wake up.
You took a
All
nap.
right, all right. We were talking about vocabulary before, which I love the subject of vocabulary because as an alien, I try to understand. Humans have a unique vocabulary. Do you understand that? Even within their own language, they have a legal vocabulary
Mm.
that they use, which is very
Yep.
proper. It goes back to their roots of the Latin. Well, and so does the medical vocabulary does as well. And then there's the slang vocabulary, which is like kind of a hidden vocabulary. I love I love that subject. This is not what I was going to talk about my on my show, but you mentioned vocabulary, G. Ross, early. Well, you didn't really directly mention it, but you indirectly mentioned vocabulary.
Right.
Um, but it is a very interesting subject because humans and they the Catholic Church try to hide the mass with Latin, right?
Right.
And then so the legal terms are all Latin and medical terms are all Latin. And then, you know, the younger generations, every generation, I'm just not talking about today, I'm talking about like all of them, trying to make up a groovy vocabulary to hide it from the older generation, just so they don't know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm. The hipsters.
Well, that's what you would call it today.
That's an example, yeah.
Yeah, but vocabulary has always been and the reason why I call it vocabulary instead of a language because it's not a language
Mm.
because a language has rules, right? A
Right.
language has the noun, the verb, the subject, you know,
Syntax.
syntax. And when you change the vocabulary, you just change the words. Because there's in on Earth, your guys' planet there, in case you didn't know you're on Earth. You have two types of vocabulary. You have the SVN, which is subject, verb, noun, or the noun, verb, subject,
Right.
which is like either I'm going to the store or to the store I'm going.
Right.
But in English, you wouldn't say to the store I'm going. You would say that in like German or probably some sort of an Asian language.
Right.
So sorry, I just came in
No, you know what?
and rolled over your conversation there.
No, you started the conversation.
But what do you guys think about like because it is a controlling thing, a governing
Well,
thing to control the vocabulary.
let me throw this in there. It's real fast, and then I'll shut up for a second.
Mm-hmm.
You just said an intro paragraph, and you were talking about the rules of a language, and I just casually said syntax, and we glossed over it, and my ears heard that the controlling paradigm, which is language. Imagine if we fell into language use, like Adam fell, right? He fell into the meat suit. He fell into language use. A syntax.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Oh.
I didn't even think about that. And
It just popped to my head as we were talking.
It's funny that we're talking about language because just the other day I was thinking about the names of angels and how it seems like a lot of them, their name ends with L.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me started to wonder if L had a meaning of its own.
Well, there's
I know this
Gabriel. There's Well,
Ariel, Michael.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
the
Lucifer
and you
was a
know,
dark. What about the dark angels like Lucifer and well, Loki is kind. Well, I don't know.
well, Devil,
Loki.
Dev
Yeah,
L.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know how
Yeah.
like Hollywood puts a lot of truth into stuff. So think about Superman, Kal El, the House of
Right.
L, shit like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mhm.
I know that sounds weird, but I just started thinking about whether or not L had a meaning to it,
All right. Well,
and then I thought of Adam and Eve,
Hmm.
and then I thought of Eve L.
Mm.
Maybe I'm tripping.
That's pretty good. I like
oh
that one.
no, but Evil is a thing. That is actually a thing. Um. Okay. I I've been wanting to throw this out to some people that would pick it up for a while, but people don't pick this up. Okay. So, are you familiar with um, the song from the Muppets? A
Mononymous.
Rainbow Connection.
I'd have to probably hear it.
Let's get the
I haven't
lyrics.
seen
Why?
that show since I was a kid.
Why? Any songs about
Oh,
rainbow
that one. Yeah.
and what's on the other side? Okay, right in the middle of that song, there's a verse that talks about maybe it's magic. And it talks about the morning star. Are you familiar with what the morning star represents?
Yeah,
It's Jesus or Lucifer, both.
Exactly. Um, but we're it. Okay, here. Let me find the video, and since we're on Jitsi, I can actually probably share the video.
yeah, do that because it's not
Uh,
ringing any bells.
Actually, I'm not gonna share it by Kermit. I'm gonna share it by Puddles.